Even uncirculated examples, those never used, tend to top out around MS64 or MS65. But in 2016, one very special Jefferson nickel from 1981 broke all expectations. Certified by PCGS as MS67 with full steps, this coin became a legend. At auction, collectors went wild. Bidding soared, and when the gavel finally came down, it sold for an astonishing $158,625. What made this specific coin so valuable? It was a combination of three factors: condition, rarity, and eye appeal. There were simply no other known examples from that year in such pristine condition with full steps. For advanced collectors trying to complete a registry set, it was a must-have. So how can you tell if your 1981 Jefferson nickel might be worth something? Start by looking closely at the reverse of the coin, specifically at Monticello. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Are all the steps clearly visible, without breaks or blurring? That's the first step, literally and figuratively. Then check the overall condition. Is the coin uncirculated, free from scratches, wear, and dings? Does it have a sharp strike and a strong luster? If it passes those tests, you might be holding something special. The next step would be to have it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Only then can its true value be determined. But remember, these valuable coins are incredibly rare. Most 1981 nickels are worth only face value. However, the hunt is half the fun, and knowing what to look for turns every coin you find into a potential jackpot. There's another angle to this story that makes it even more interesting: the forgotten legacy of the Jefferson nickel itself. For decades, it was the underdog of American coinage, overshadowed by the penny and the silver dollar. The nickel was often ignored by collectors. But in recent years, that's changed. With the rise of registry sets and specialized collectors focusing on full steps varieties, the Jefferson nickel has gained newfound respect. Coins like the 1981 MS67FS have led the charge, turning what was once pocket change into prized artifacts. And who knows, maybe the next $158,000 nickel is still out there, tucked away in an old coin jar, hidden in a drawer, or mixed in with everyday change. So the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel, especially one from 1981, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. You might just find a treasure that could change your life. Welcome to an extraordinary journey into the world of American numismatics, where history, rarity, and a touch of mystery converge in the form of a single small copper coin. Today, we dive deep into the captivating story of the 1978 Lincoln penny, a humble coin with an astonishing secret. One example of this coin has stunned collectors worldwide with a price tag of $167,000 US. How can a common coin from the late 1970s become a prized treasure worth a small fortune? What secrets does this coin hold? And how can you spot one that might be hiding in your own pocket change? Buckle up, because this isn't just a tale about a coin, it's a journey through American history, minting technology, collector culture, and the hidden gems that sometimes lie in plain sight. Chapter 1. The Context: America in 1978. To understand the 1978 Lincoln penny, we need to step back into the year it was struck. 1978 was a year of transition. Jimmy Carter was president, inflation was a concern, and the Cold War continued to cast its shadow. Amid these larger global narratives, the U.S. Mint quietly produced billions of Lincoln cents coins that would be passed from hand to hand, barely noticed, until one of them became legendary. These were the last pennies to feature the Lincoln memorial reverse before a pivotal change in the early 1980s, when the composition of the coin itself would shift from bronze to a copper-plated zinc core. In many ways, 1978 was the final chapter of an era. Chapter 2. Design and Specifications. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had remained largely unchanged for decades. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a right-facing portrait of Lincoln with the simple inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1978. The reverse, created by Frank Gasparo, displays the Lincoln Memorial, replacing the original wheat ears in 1959, marking Lincoln's 150th birthday. In 1978, the penny was still composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. But this seemingly ordinary coin would produce one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever known. Chapter 3: The Coin That Shocked the World. $167,000. Let's talk about the legend. The 1978 Lincoln penny that fetched $167,000 at auction. What made it so special? This wasn't just any 1978 penny. It was struck with extraordinary precision. Graded MS6 7+ red by PCGSN ultra rare grade for this year and type. But it wasn't just the grade. This specimen also displayed what collectors believe to be unique strike characteristics, potentially the result of a transitional error, planchet anomaly, or die state that set it apart from the billions of other pennies minted that year. It may have been struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, or it may have exhibited double dies or even off-metal errors. This makes double die coins far rarer and more valuable than their machine-doubled counterparts. Part 4. What makes it worth $187,000? Most 1984 DDO Lincoln cents trade in the market for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars depending on condition. So how did one reach the astronomical price of $187,000? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and timing. The coin that sold for $187,000 was in MS 68 red mint state 68 red. Condition virtually flawless with full original red luster. Such a pristine example is extraordinarily rare. Out of potentially millions of surviving 1984 pennies, only a microscopic fraction show the doubling, and even fewer remain in near-perfect condition. Combine that with collector demand for major double dies, especially those from the modern era, and you have the perfect storm. Add a high-profile auction and aggressive bidding, and the final price soared to $187,000. Let's not forget that the coin also had provenance, a record of ownership that adds to its pedigree. It had passed through the hands of well-known numismatists and had been featured in major coin publications, giving it an almost legendary status. Part 5. How to spot the 1984 double-die penny. So, how can you tell if you have one of these gems in your pocket or collection? Here's what to look for. Examine Lincoln's ear. This is the most obvious clue. On the double-die version, Lincoln appears to have a second earlobe just beneath the main one. It's clear and raised, not flattened like machine doubling. Use a loupe or microscope. Bare eyes might miss the detail. A 10x magnification loupe or a coin microscope is ideal for spotting doubling. Check the mint mark. The 1984 DTO is from the Philadelphia Mint, so it will not have a mint mark under the date. Assess the color and luster. While not every valuable example is pristine, coins with full red color and minimal wear fetch significantly higher prices. Authentication. If you suspect you have a 1984 DTO, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication is key to realizing its value. Part 6. Other famous Lincoln penny errors. The 1984 DTO is not alone in the world of valuable Lincoln cents. It joins an elite group of mint errors that have captured the imagination of collectors. 1955 double die obverse, perhaps the most famous error in U.S. coinage, with strong doubling on all obverse inscriptions. 1972 double die obverse, another well-known DDO variety, especially popular with modern collectors. 1995 double die obverse, a more recent discovery, with significant doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust. 1983 double die reverse, another Philadelphia error, this time with reverse lettering doubled. Each of these errors has its own mystique, but the 1984 DDO stands out for its unique focus on Lincoln's features, particularly the doubled ear. Part 7. The role of condition in value. Let's explore what makes condition such a critical factor in coin collecting. In the world of coin collecting, there are moments when ordinary change becomes a gateway to extraordinary value. The Jefferson nickel from 1979 might seem like just another coin in your pocket. But what if I told you that one of these nickels has fetched an astonishing $159,000? Yes, a Jefferson nickel from 1979, one of the most overlooked coins in circulation. Today, we're diving deep into its history, its design, the key features that make it so valuable, and how you might spot one in your own collection. The Jefferson nickel was first minted in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design featured Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, and his famous Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag. This coin was part of a broader effort to modernize U.S. coinage during the 20th century. Fast forward to 1979, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins annually. Inflation was rising, and coin usage was at an all-time high. That year, the Jefferson nickel was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most coins from this year are common, but as with all things in numismatics, there are exceptions, rarities, errors, misprints, the anomalies that send shockwaves through the collecting community. So how does a 1979 Jefferson nickel reach a jaw-dropping $159,000 in value? First, rarity. While millions of 1979 nickels were produced, coins that are perfectly struck, in pristine condition, and have survived without a single blemish are extremely rare. Coins that grade them as 67 and higher, particularly with full steps detail on Monticello, command high prices. Full steps means the stairs on the Monticello design are fully visible and unbroken, something difficult to achieve due to the weakness in strikes common that year. Next, condition. The coin that sold for $159,000 was graded at an elite level, likely MS67 or MS68 full steps by PCGS or NGC. The top grading services in the US. These coins are so sharply detailed, so flawless, they represent the absolute finest known examples. And when only 1 or 2 coins reach this level, collectors are willing to spend tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to own them. Some 1979 nickels contain striking errors that make them highly sought after. We're talking about off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet like a penny or dime planchet. A known example of a 1979D Jefferson nickel struck on a cent planchet, meaning a copper coin instead of the normal nickel. Alloy has sold for thousands of dollars due to its rarity, but the $159,000 coin wasn't just an error, it was a perfect storm, a rare, possibly one of a kind, high-grade full steps example, with pristine surfaces and nearly perfect centering. It's the holy grail for Jefferson nickel collectors. Let's pause for a moment